Whether you're new to the firearms world and you're carrying a handgun for personal protection, or you keep it in your bedside table for home defense, basic firearm cleaning is something that you should be familiar with and do on a regular basis. This is the Urban Sentinel. Let's get into it. Now, one of the first things you need to do when cleaning your firearm is make sure that it is unloaded. So I've already removed the magazine. As you can see, no magazine there. Nothing inside. Take a look, use your pinky finger, reach in towards there, because what you want to make sure is that by accident there's not a single cartridge hung up somewhere in there, because once you close the slide, if you do have a live round in there, it's going to get chambered and then you're back to being in a fully loaded condition. Now, this is a semi-automatic handgun. This particular gun is my everyday carry gun. It is a Springfield Armory XD. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the slide. This particular model, I pull the trigger, which is the other reason why you need to ensure that the firearm has no ammunition in it. Now I'm going to move the slide back and lock it open. Once I do that, I've got the slide release lever. Bring that up, slide it forward, give the trigger a pull, and I slide off of the frame. Something you need to note for new firearm owners: although semi-automatic handguns effectively function the same, not every handgun disassembles in the same fashion. So one, consult the instruction manual. If you purchased it from a gun store, ask someone at the gun store, how do you properly disassemble the gun for cleaning? If you purchased it from personal contact, again, make sure that you know how to take the gun apart properly and safely to clean it. So now, the frame by itself, take the slide, I remove the recoil spring, pull out the barrel, and for this particular gun, that is the core of the breakdown. Now, when I begin to clean, I like to start with the frame first. As you can see in here, there's a little bit of grit and dust built up in these parts. What I tend to use is a simple toothbrush. Now, what I usually do is I'll brush along some of the edges, getting down in here with the brush, along the rails, inside the actual mag well area. Now that's to pretty much remove any large debris that there is. I can then use a lubricating oil. You don't need much at all. One or two drops. Brush it in. Now the key thing is you don't want to have your entire frame dripping. That's the key thing. If you've got a little bit of excess, you can use a patch cloth and just wipe a little bit of the excess off so there's no drippage. Now I take my slide, Again, I'm brushing to loosen up any of the debris along the edges of the slide rails and along many of the contact points. Again, you don't need much. Little drop, little drop. Now with my spring, I usually don't have to mess with it. Overall, it's fairly clean. If there's anything, it's a mild amount of dust on it, but it doesn't really require any other maintenance than just a quick brush or a wipe down. Now, cleaning the barrel, I want to make sure that I can get any of the grit and debris. And you also want to make sure that you're using the right size bore brush for your barrel. Pushing it through. I'm taking a little bit of my oil, a little drop, a little drop, a little drop. Doesn't need a lot. Oop. Now after I've done that, I want to take a clean patch, get it in, as you can see, it's not too dirty at all. Very, very little dust in there. I'm going to take my silicone cloth and get the end of the feed ramp. Let's move it around in there. Because the problem that you can have is if you have a little bit of built-up residue from firing the gun, it may make a very thin coating that you almost don't notice, but it can be enough that after several rounds it can cause a hang-up when the next cartridge is getting chambered. That's much better. Now reassembly. Slide in with the barrel. There. Line this up. Lock it open. Drop the lever. Now, and that is basic cleaning on a semi-automatic pistol.